up, we'll definitely do that.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna Google some places in Tennessee now.
Hey, bring your appetite, because you gonna come down here, you gonna run with the big dog on that one.
Oh, wow.
I'm ready.
That's great. That's an awesome trip. And just
Yeah.
a heads up, I think you get notices now, but we're live streaming on YouTube, just so everybody's aware. And we'll get started in a couple minutes. In the meantime, as you're joining us, instead of a poll, I did want to do something Olympic themed though. And a poll is so limited. I was hoping that if you're a fan of any part of the Olympics, you would rename yourself to kind of either the specific sport or whatever it is that you are a fan of, or just generally what you're a fan of. So the Olympics kicked off this morning early with the opening ceremony. And I've already watched my first event. I'll tell you what that was in a second, but go ahead, rename yourself to your favorite Olympic competition or what you love most about the Olympics, if you happen to like the Olympics. Bessie looks like she's deep in thought. All right, if you're just joining us, your assignment in honor of the Olympics today, which kicked off the opening ceremony today, is to rename yourself the competition or the sport that you like the most to watch about the Olympics, or just your favorite part of the Olympics. Maybe you're not a fan of one particular sport, but you like the event.
Badminton.
A lot of
Ryan, badminton
in this one for sure.
Oh yeah, badminton is no joke. That's a real sport right there. Badminton, table tennis. I'm all about those. 100%. I will die on that hill.
When you watch
On that court, Ryan, I'm with you. So when I was growing up in Canada, and George might be able to test this, but growing up in Canada, badminton was huge, massive. And,
oh yeah.
And so I played like in high school. It was amazing. It was the competition was off the charts.
Oh, it's great. I tried to start up a team at my high school because there wasn't one, and we couldn't get enough people for a whole team. It was so depressing.
I guess
You
I
know
tried.
the interesting fact that
Another
makes
person.
you really played on the badminton team, Alan?
I did, yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, I was actually pretty good. My partner and we played doubles. My partner and I were competitive in Ontario. So we would play at different tournaments. So it was
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. Well, part of it was I went to this boarding school. My dad worked at this boarding school, so we lived there, and I went to this boarding school. And we had a lot of Asian students coming over from Hong Kong, and so they had access to all the best rackets. And so I would work during the summer. I would give them money. They'd go home, and then they'd bring stuff back, and so that way I could have like really good equipment. So, but yeah, it was kind of fun.
That's awesome.
All right, if you're
Did you
just
try
joining,
to play in college?
yeah, what? No, I didn't play in college. I did maybe recreationally. I played volleyball in college. That was it. But
I have to know why badminton over tennis though, because like badminton seems like a watered down version of tennis. It's like not as.
so
I play tennis as well. It's a totally different sport. Every racket sport is very different from each other. I feel like that's a common misconception.
I think my high school didn't have tennis courts. Okay, if you're just joining us, we are live on YouTube, and today the opening ceremonies took place this morning around 7 a.m. for the 2020 Olympics. And in honor of those and those athletes that are competing, why don't you go ahead and rename yourself to your favorite Olympic event?
Yes, it's from
Speak.
Good afternoon.
And I'm just going to mute everyone for now. Just, we got a lot of background noise. Oh, someone muted themselves, so we're okay for now. Okay. Before we, let's see, what do we have? Any? Okay, we got Gloria, gymnastics and basketball. Any particular reason? Gymnastics, I mean, they're both quite amazing, but they're also very different.
So I just love gymnastics just for what it is. And I always wanted to be a gymnast, you know, to do that. Never did it. And then I played basketball in high school. You know, my husband's a basketball player and just come from a basketball family. And it's actually one of my favorite sports. So
Cool, very good. What else do we have out there? Let's see. Ryan already said badminton and table tennis. We've got swimming and diving. Who said that?
I got swimming, Ellen.
Oh, cool. What is it about swimming, Ryan, you like? Did you swim at all? You played hockey. So,
Yeah.
but did you swim at all or no?
I mean, I grew up swimming. I had grew up with a pool in my yard, but I wasn't like a competitive swimmer. So I'm more of a submarine swimmer, diver type swimmer. But I think it's just mesmerizing of what they can do in the pool,
So
And then, yeah, there's a family, their son is on the Canadian Olympic team this year. So it's, we'll be paying close attention. Pretty big deal. He comes from a small town and he made the Olympic team. So
oh, that's huge.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey Ryan, did that swimming pool turn into a rink in the wintertime?
hey, good question. There's a lot of families that do that now, but back then, no, it froze over. We would put a cover on it, but most of our training would happen out in the streets, playing street hockey and going to the local community centers that were. I mean, there's a community center on every second block in Canada, with hockey rinks. So.
Created rinks in Montreal and Toronto in our backyard, just shovel out some space, hose it down, and there you go. But it was good.
Played so much street hockey growing up. Oh my God, it's like game on.
Yeah.
Car
Yeah.
comes through. Great. Okay, what other Olympic events? I did not clarify Summer Olympics. Someone put curling in there, which I think is mainly a winter sport, but I think it's an awesome sport. I love curling. Let's see, what else?
I just realized that it was a winter sport, so I took it off my list. I find that curling is just fascinating.
So fascinating. And Ithaca has, last I heard, and I maybe this has changed the last few years, but at one point in time, Ithaca had a curling either league or a rink or something, right?
I think they do.
Area.
Yep.
And that's, you don't find those everywhere because it's like dimpled ice, right? It's like
right.
Very specific. Okay, what else we got? Again, we're just going through in honor of the Olympics, starting today officially with the opening ceremonies. Just asking people to rename themselves for their favorite Olympic event. We've got volleyball on there. So someone said volleyball. Who loves volleyball?
That's Amanda. I'm like 8 feet tall. So it's kind of, it's like kind of understood. Volleyball and basketball are my things. But yeah, volleyball. I actually wanted to be a volleyball coach, but college was taken forever. And my parents were like, would you please just get out? So that career path didn't take off. But yeah, volleyball is my sport. So.
Olympic volleyball is incredible, isn't it? I mean,
love it.
The speed at which that game moves is unreal. So good. All right, and then Charlie, I'm just curious, Diversity 2021.
So I don't have a particular sport that I really care for that's in the Olympics. I watch it, but I don't know if it's maybe because I'm more actively on social media now that I do see like some of the faces, some of the younger women who are in it, like gymnastics and track and fields, and just seeing like these are people who should be recognized in the Olympics. So diversity, and I'm just excited to see what happens and how it plays out.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
A lot of, it's interesting this year for a couple different reasons. A lot of controversy right around the Olympics this year. Obviously, a lot of people thinking that they shouldn't have held it because of COVID, and a lot of athletes actually not, or some athletes choosing not to participate as a result of that. And then also, we saw a lot of stir around kind of mental health, right? And athletes that were opting out or opting to reduce how much they were in front of the media. Very interesting. So really pretty good to see those stands taking place, Charlie, to kind of what you're talking about. Antonio, you said track and field.
Yes, I like track and field. I used to be
Any
in college.
particular
Yeah, I was in college. I was in cross country, so I like track and field pretty cool.
That's awesome. Again, talk about speed. The speed at which human beings are able to move is just unreal, and the power that they're able to generate is incredible. So, well, I think this Olympics, the one I'm most interested in is the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. I was up Thursday morning at 4:30 watching the game live, texting two other friends that are diehards, and totally crushed that we lost to Sweden 3-0. I mean, we got trounced, which was just unreal. So I still believe they can win the gold. But that was so disappointing to see their first game out of the gate, and they were beat up bad. So hopefully they'll bounce back. They got New Zealand tomorrow morning at 7:30 for anyone that's interested. You get to sleep just a little bit on Saturday. So they should handle New Zealand really well, but they have to score a lot of goals now. So they gave up 3 and they lost the game. So they have to hit the win for the game, but they also have to gotta get a lot of goals because of the way it's set up. Okay, any last? Oh, we got freestyle skiing. We got Cherry kind of away with a winter themed event, but Cherry, any reason particularly that skiing?
Well, I did. I chose a winter sport, but I just think it's amazing the speed alone at which they travel and the tricks that they do. It's just amazing. I love watching it.
Yeah, I think about skiers, particularly like whether it's freestyle, downhill. I mean, the courage by which they have to have is unreal.
Absolutely, I agree.
Unreal. Between how fast they're going, how high they're jumping, and some of the events, and the fact that they're then trying to land is just unreal.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Cool. Awesome. Well, let's get started. Hopefully you'll find time over the next couple of weeks to enjoy elements of the Olympics and cheer on our team. And I always love the stories that come out of the Olympics. You always end up hearing about individuals that they have to overcome such adversity to get to where they are or to have success in the game. And then you always hear stories about somehow the I'd say comradeship, but it's almost that sportsmanship, right? Like the bond between athletes, no matter what country, it's always, and no matter the competition, you always have also great demonstrations of sportsmanship that come out. So it should be very interesting this year for sure in Tokyo. So anyway, why don't we open up? We'll get started with officially anyway with our town hall update for COVID. And again, I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today, Friday. Hard to believe that it's the 23rd of July. July is almost done, which is amazing. August will be here before we know it, which is just incredible. And I just want to thank Precious for putting this together and sending this along. So kind of letting you know where we are right now. Our numbers remain low, but they're there. I mean, so in terms of people who we support with active cases, fortunately, that is maintaining at a 0, which is good. However, we do have 3 people that we support that are hospitalized or in a rehab facility. It looks like 3 of those are all in Tennessee. And I don't know if all of those are COVID related, but that aside, there's 3 people that we support that are struggling. One apparently is in hospice, which is sad to hear as well. And then in terms of staff active cases, we still are at 1. That one is in Delaware. And interestingly enough, we'll talk a little bit more about this. That person was fully vaccinated. That staff member was fully vaccinated, and yet still came down with an active case of COVID. So let's just take a moment and just hold space for, the 3 people we support that are in hospitals for their families. Certainly those are trying times. And then also for that one active case that we have as a fellow staff member. So if you would join me. Okay, thank you. And again, we want to just keep reinforcing the need to stay vigilant right now, particularly with the rising cases. And I hadn't seen this statistic, but Precious did some research. As of today or yesterday, Thursday, July 22nd, Tennessee is #1 in the US for largest increase of new COVID-19 cases. So that's not good. And Shelby County is now leading in the state with the largest number of rising COVID cases in the state with the highest prevalence of the Delta variant. So certainly, we are going to keep an eye on situations in Tennessee with such a big part of our organization and people we support and fellow team members in Tennessee. We certainly are concerned about your safety there, and just asking that everyone continue using universal precautions. Certainly when on the job, in a residential, anytime you're supporting someone, we're still having mask mandates and PPE when you're in direct support for somebody. So we want to make sure that that continues to happen. And also I would just kind of keep putting it out there. Please talk to your healthcare professional. If you have questions about the efficacy, the legitimacy, whatever it is, like your own unique individual medical situations relative to the vaccine, please talk to your healthcare provider. I'm certainly pro-vaccine. I mean, the data right now is demonstrating that people that are for the most part, we've got the one case in Delaware that's actually bucking that. But for the most part, I think it's something like 99.5% of people that are getting hospitalized or passing away right now were unvaccinated. And so there's certainly going to be situations where that may not be the case, like what we have in Delaware. But by and large, we do know that the vaccine has been effective in keeping the number of cases at bay. Now with the variant, though, being incredibly fast at transmission and just a continued danger for everyone, we just really ask you to consider getting the vaccination. Please talk to your healthcare provider. Forget what people are saying on TV, whether you are, a left liberal leaning person, whether you are a right conservative person, that doesn't matter. What matters is go to your healthcare professional and ask your doctor what is best for you. Ask and get their perspective and make the decisions based on that. So anyway, just want to put that out there. And again, once you are vaccinated, please be sure to upload that in Paycom so that we can have a record of that. We are getting requests to know how many people staff-wise have been vaccinated. So we want to be able to track that. So please go ahead and do that. Our vaccination status is continuing to grow. We've got about 250 people so far that we support vaccinated. The staff numbers seem to be holding pretty steady, but it's a self-reported number too. So we're still under 200. I believe probably that number is actually higher. But again, that would be more anecdotal on my part than actually fact-based. So please consider getting the vaccine. It is the thing that we all can do to keep each other safe. And then outside of that, I'd say being aware of what your local health officials are mandating. I think that there is a very strong likelihood that we could end up going back to mask mandates in various jurisdictions where SJCS has a presence. That may not happen everywhere across the board. But I do think that there's a lot of saber rattling out there that the concern is that where the variant has been running rampant, that once again, healthcare systems are getting overwhelmed and that hospitals are getting full to capacity and that they're running out of resources, both manpower, labor, woman power, as well as equipment. So just be aware, make sure that when you're out, you've got a mask with you, make sure that you are prepared to have it on, and make sure that you are continuing to practice social distancing. So, and follow those CDC guidelines and then the local health official guidelines as well, because again, depending on where you are, and the situation at hand, there could be very kind of hyper localized mandates that end up rolling out. So any questions or any further comments on kind of whether it's about COVID or COVID related or vaccine related? Okay. I appreciate everybody's support on this. We've worked so hard over the last year and a half. I know people are still doing it. I know it's incredibly inconvenient and very difficult, but thank you so much because you've kept so many people safe, both people you support as well as your fellow team members. Okay, let me pause there and just open it up for any updates around SJCS. Anyone want to lead us off?
Can I start?
Yeah, who is that? Oh, Charlie.
Oh, me. Hi. It's Charlie. I know my name says diversity, but it's Charlie from the HR department. I just wanted to give you guys kind of like an update on like your medical cards and where you can go in for your information if you do need them before you get your cards. So for our new vendor for BRI, if you are enrolled in the HRA or the FSA, we did upload the welcome guide into Paycom and you can see it in your documents. The welcome guide will set you up with the step-by-step process to log in on their mobile app or even onto the website, whichever is your preference. And then you can also see your live balances there on the app or the website. For our dental, new insurance cards have been sent out for the addresses that you guys provided us. So if your addresses are correct in Paycom, you should be receiving your new dental cards soon. You can also print or save them from the website. I can drop the website in the chat for all the vendors that I'm going to say when I'm done speaking. You can also call them if you need to get a card before your dentist appointment, if you've made a dentist appointment, but those are coming. For our medical cards, new cards were processed last Saturday, July 17th, and they are en route. You can also access their website as well if you need to get a digital card, or you can even call to see in-network providers or anything like that. And then for Unum's not giving us new vision cards. The only people who are going to get new cards are new employees, new hires who are enrolled for the first time. They did give us their website as well if you wanted to go and print out or even save a hard copy on your phone for a digital card. And they also gave us their phone number. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that into the chat. Gloria yesterday did send out an email of all this information of the websites and the phone numbers. So if you can't see it in the chat, maybe you're on YouTube, you can definitely check your email and the information is there. If that is too fast for you, if you don't see the email or you can't see the chat for whatever reason, definitely reach out to your HR representative or even reach out to the HR inbox. And I can just give you that information one-on-one if that works better for you. But that's all I have on benefits.
Hey, Charlie, it's George. So we definitely need a Cigna card because I know the last couple of years for the dental, we've not had a card, but that's different now. So we should be sure to get one.
I'm sorry, you said Cigna Dental, you have not received a dental card.
With our social security number, whatever dentist will go in and plan and they look it up that way.
Yeah, so George, just from personal experience, I think it depends on your provider because Cigna has a great website in that regard. And so providers can actually take your information and very easily look up your coverage on their website. And so, for example, like just a couple of weeks ago, I was at the dentist first week in July, and then my team was there as well. And kind of we went through that process. So you may not need a card unless you're with a provider that requires one.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have a card. You always felt a little odd.
Yeah. When I spoke to them, they said that we are getting cards, but I do know a lot of the vendors are moving now into like the digital card. So unless people are specifically requesting a card, they're moving into the digital one. So that was the first website and the phone number that I dropped into the chat for the dental. But they did confirm that they are sending out new cards.
Cool.
So I'm just gonna keep dropping little websites into the chat.
Any other questions for Charlie on that? I can say again, personal experience, a couple things, if this helps anyone out there. BRI, I actually went through, I submitted for my first claim. So in that process, very smoothly. Their website was very easy to use, I found. Easier in my opinion than our past provider. So, so far so good. And I just literally, it did take a while to get cards for BRI. I just got mine this past week. And I know other people are starting in the mail too. Also, Care First, again, has an option on their website that you can download a digital card. So that's an option. And Charlie also said that they're sending cards, and then you can also, if you want to, request a card. But anyway, all that being said, the Care First website seems pretty easy in terms of accessing. So in the interim, I'd encourage you, download a digital card. You know, have that as a picture, and that way, until you get your hard copy, you've got something physical. You've got something you can show providers if needed. So, any other questions on benefits for Charlie? All right, well, thank you very much, Charlie. And again, as Charlie mentioned, if any of you have questions, be sure to reach out to your HR representative, and certainly, you know, reach out to HR if you have any questions. We want to make sure that you know and have access to everything that you signed up for and that you're paying for and contributing for benefits. So please be sure to maximize those. All right, thank you, Charlie. Okay, let's keep going around to SJCS. What other updates do we have?
Hello, everybody. Roy here from Ithaca. Oh,
Hi, Roy.
George, did I cut you off? So I have my card right here, and I used it today, and it worked beautifully. So thank
So I could take a picture and use it.
you. Here, go ahead. Take a screenshot. I don't have much to update in terms of what's going on. I mean, it's midsummer, so typically what happens is that the number of people in shelter goes down, which is a good thing. So our numbers are a little bit low, but typical for what happens in the summer. It's nothing out of the ordinary. We continue to open up, so to speak, and schedule programming. I talked a little bit about it last week, and those things are still sort of in the works and beginning to happen, or will begin to happen soon. The weather here is absolutely spectacular in upstate New York, which is really nice compared to what we've had recently. And Janine, who is one of our most favorite visitors to the shelter, was down yesterday, and she visited with Dick Tabor, who has been a longtime friend of the shelter and of the pantry, and it was actually his wife, Eunice, who was very instrumental in making sure that our pantry runs as well as it does. And she died recently, and there's going to be a memorial service for her tomorrow, which I hope to attend. But anyway, Janine might want to mention she had a great little visit with Dick, and he donated a whole bunch of stuff. So I'll turn it over to Janine, and that's all I have from Ithaca.
Thanks, Roy. Happy Friday, everyone. I've known Dick since my days at the rescue mission. He and Eunice are just, she was an amazing, amazing woman. And he is just probably one of the sweetest men I've ever met. But he is actually going to be downsizing out of his patio home in the community that he lives in, and going to the main building. But his first thought was to how he could give to St. John's. So he and had a few of his friends from around the community. They collected a bunch of stuff, from sleeping bags to rain boots, pots and pans, which were desperately needed for some of our folks upstairs, socks, and a lot of other household items. But he's funny, and he's already looking to coordinate a clothing drive with the other residents in the main building. So he's already, his wheels are turning. So he and I are going to get together again and put our heads together and see what we can do with the folks at Longview. View.
Awesome. Yeah. Dick's an amazing guy. I mean, how many years, like, so the shelter was operated by the Rescue Mission prior to St. John's. How many years was Dick and Eunice volunteering there, or have they been volunteering there?
So, and then before that, it was the
Red Cross.
Red Cross ran it for many years. And as far as I know, they've been doing it for at least 15.
Wow.
As far as I know. So
a lot of people have been fed because of Dick and Eunice for sure. And they've cared for a lot of people in that community. So really remarkable. So.
And I also talked to him also about the church. So the folks at the church are also really excited to get involved again and get some projects. So Dick and I talked about that. So lots of good things. And he's going to have another big donation for us in August. Once the kids tell him more of stuff he does not need anymore. So
for kind. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Who else has an update?
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. I don't have anything too exciting, but this week did get to spend some time beginning work on our quality improvement plan for this upcoming year. Based on conversations I had with staff across the organization, various. One of the areas that speak to in there is accreditation. And I think as most everyone knows, we've been CARF accredited since 2000 and are now really looking at the Council for Quality and Leadership as perhaps the route we go for accreditation next year when CARF accreditation runs out in December of 2022. So wanted to just ask the Tennessee staff. We recently have been going through an abbreviated CQL accreditation process as part of the state's effort to be CQL accredited. Found it really informative. A couple of the sessions I sat in on, especially the one that talked about the process for getting CQL accreditation. So I just wanted to kind of ask some of the Tennessee folks that were involved with some of that to kind of share that experience.
I can speak up, George. Yeah, guys, CQL, they started in about 2016, that accreditation body here with the DIDD, with the state funder that our agencies are funded through. My former employer was accredited simultaneously the same time that as part of the DIDD accreditation. So their accreditation body is very, very comprehensive. It's not punitive, but it's very, very comprehensive. It comes in to just monitor and look at what we're doing great, what we can do better. And it's all person-centered. It's really, really like some heightened focus on all about the individuals and the people we support and we serve. Very interactive, like I said, comprehensive, but very interactive to the point to where they want to really, really sit across the table or virtually, talking with the individuals that receive the services and get all kinds of different testimonials from them. They have a focus group mentality as well, to where they meet with our individuals collectively in a focus group. Obviously pre-pandemic, that would be in a conference room. This go around was more virtually, to where they would meet virtually with the individuals in a focus group for individuals specifically that are served and receive services through St. John's. A secondary focus group is where they meet with employees, tenured employees, seasoned employees, and new employees to get their take on what it's like being an employee with St. John's. So very, very comprehensive, very detailed, not punitive. They want to help. They want to be able to score us and really, really look at making what we do better. So, I mean, that's the accreditation I knew before I came over to St. John's. I thought it was, very, very beneficial and helpful for not just the agency itself, but personal growth as well, and raising awareness of what we do and who we serve.
If I remember correctly, Ryan, we always have done kind of our own self-assessment before CARF comes in to gauge how well we conform to standards and, make adjustments as needed. With CQL, if I remember correctly, they have a set of tools that you're to use in advance of them even agreeing to accredit you. They want to be sure that you're ready to go through that process. Am I remembering correctly? Or
Yeah. There's a number of tiers that you have to go through before they can actually render you ready. And they'll be, they come through the front door. They'll tell you, you guys aren't ready. You guys aren't ready. As all of us heard on our call, they feel, and they've already told us, you guys are more than ready. And I see that as well. I saw that way when I, 3 years ago when I came over, as far as accreditation is concerned, and we're good to go if we ever choose to go that route. So yeah, I mean, they're very thorough in what they do and very helpful.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
This is Tom. I'm going to follow up Ryan again for the second week in a row, but I've also been with an agency before that got CQL accreditation. Started from the very beginning when we started putting all our documents together. And one great thing that they have is what they call the personal outcome measures. It really takes what we're doing anyway, as far as the goals and how to achieve somebody's visions and give them their best life. A lot of the language that we're already familiar with. There's the dog. A lot of language they're already familiar with, but they really they make you think about it really, really hard, and one thing that I appreciate that they do is they don't allow you to think in terms of, well, the state regulations say we have to do this. So sorry, the state regulations say we have to do this, and we do this within this mindset. It's really definitely about putting the individual out there and their dreams and their visions, and a lot of things that St. John's is already doing. They like to hear things kind of like what we have with our tech stories. Doug, just as I started talking, so I'm sorry. Things like we do with our tech stories and how we're allowing people to achieve their vision. So there's a lot of things that we're already doing that will work really well into CQL.
I feel like the dog's a big supporter of CQL. So adding their voice. So Tom, I feel like everybody needs to see the dog at this point in time. Like don't you feel that? So.
Show the dog.
My dog is now barking, so I just want to let you know he heard the bark and now he's barking. It's okay though.
Awesome. All right, let's see.
All right, and sorry, Alan, to cut you off. Our tech initiative was really Tom, you got to take your mic off so we can see.
I'll spotlight him. Oh.
Oh yeah. Look at that face. Look at that face.
Sorry, this is the problem here.
No problem. All good.
Happy now. But our initiative, with technology, there was they were impressed. I think they didn't really come out and say it, but it was clean. It was clean. It wasn't as rough as I think what they've experienced. And there's obviously that push with them as well, with where we're going, technology wise. So it was a good feel. It was a good feel at the end of it. And, they learned a lot from us in that process. I mean, right from like a testimonial of Tina, who is one of the reviewers and the auditors. She's hard of hearing, right? So she didn't even know that you could use captioning on the virtual aspect of what we were doing. So the captioning helped with her as far as delivering the actual review and helping her in that review. Yeah, it was pretty powerful. One of the interactive sessions was with one of our individuals in Jackson who's hard of hearing. So we were able to use creative measures there through virtual technology and captions and a whiteboard, and him being able to communicate back and forth with Tina, who's hard of hearing as well. So it was very interesting. It was cool experience.
Very good. Thank you both. George, anything else on that front?
No, that was it. Just really wanted to kind of.
That's great. And I see a question in the chat, and I saw Charlie responded, but I think we might need to double check that. So the question in the chat is, when will the balance from the task card transfer to the new BRI card? And again, that's if you have the FSA, right? The flexible spending account. My understanding is that there's a 90-day run out period following the plan year. So I think that that's when you would anticipate, like, once that 90 day has run out, and that's for, you know, people to process older claims or more recent claims, I guess, then they kind of reconcile and transfer. If you have up to $500 remaining, they'll transfer up to $500 over. So I think that that's kind of the scenario, but we can double check that with our broker and come back to you. All right, any other updates?
Ellen, I've got a couple, just some quick ones. Today, Sandra was on a morning talk show in Memphis talking about St. John's. I just posted the Facebook, they did it live on Facebook as well. She's at the 2 hour and 45-minute mark. So if you want to hear her talking about St. John, and she really talked a lot about the employment needs, and then got into a segment about classes and how awesome her frames are. So it was a really good segment. But you can listen to that if you want within the Mighty 90. And then also, just, I don't know if everybody knows, but I'm outing him now since he's going on maternity leave tomorrow. Today is his last day. Ryan will be out for a month on paternity leave. And so please send it. He's got things routed to him, but if there were things that you were going to send to Ryan, send them to me, and we'll figure out how we can help you with those. So.
And we're talking Ryan K.
Yes, Ryan. Yes, Ryan KK. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to Ryan. Exciting days ahead for sure. So that's great. Awesome. Good. Any other updates or any highlights? Any shout outs?
Hey, Alan, it's Precious.
Hey, Precious.
It's Precious, the one and only. So a couple of few quick updates, and I'll be really, really quick. The innovation and technology team has been working really hard this week, trying to clean up that email listserv that has like 800 employees, but we only probably really have like 160 users, trying to figure out who's who deserves what, who needs what. And then also working to create schedules for updating the Microsoft platform. We're all getting a nice update as soon as we finish cleaning up. We also been working on some list or wish lists or needs lists and trying to prioritize who needs what do we need going forward, what's changing within our infrastructure, such as mandation of therapy in Tennessee and all of its uses versus Relias in many different states, and how do we maximize the use of therapy for other services that are not actually easy to capture data about collectively. So been really, really busy. But the biggest update, and this is exciting week next week. So I told you last week that Boost Lingo, we're engaging with Boost Lingo, which is a software application that behaves like an Uber. So you need it, you call it, and then it provides a service. You're done. And so it's a software that provides for translation services and ASL sign language. And so we would be able to, whenever needed, HR manager, if you have a staff person, or we have people that we support who may speak a different language or need ASL interpretation at that moment. And the biggest difference is because everyone who works at least in the IDD field knows that it takes at least a week or two to get an interpreter assigned. By that time, the person forgot what they wanted to talk about or wasn't able to get their needs met. And that could be a staff person or a person we support. So with Boost Lingo, we have on-demand access to hundreds of traditional languages as well as dialects of languages that may be, you know, kind of indigenous languages as well. So pretty cool. We are loving it. But the fun part is that they are giving us, thank you, Steve, for working out. He did the magic in this. I won't say too much because it's on YouTube, but Steve Sims, thank you so much, buddy. He was able to secure us a whole week of unlimited usage of the app starting on Monday.
Wow.
So if any HR, any staff person, or any person we support to try it out, we have people in Virginia that speak Vietnamese as their native language, their mother's tongue, and they may want to say, you know, finally say something that they could on the spot. You have the opportunity to use that. So if you would like to use that or would like to, we're going to get the information on Monday, and Steve and Carl are going to be kind of the people to get access to, but they're going to share it with everybody. But we get unlimited access for the work week. Let me just clarify that. Monday through Friday. So if we want to try it out, use it, this is an opportunity. So this is cool stuff. This is the stuff we like. And the service itself is quality enhancement for what we do here at St. John's, engagement with our staff and engagement with the people we support in a meaningful way. Those are my updates.
That's cool. How widely used is Boostlingo right now?
Very widely used. The rep is really cool. They're on California time, but a lot of people use it, and we were able to see it in action. So within a couple of seconds, just like how Uber is like looking for your ride, looking for your ride, looking for your ride, within a couple of seconds, the interpreter shows up, and now you're in a conversation. And that interpreter, so this can happen at doctor's appointments, this can happen with staff talking to their managers, and ASL, any spoken language, pretty cool.
So I don't know if this would be a possibility, but could we demo that at next week's town hall?
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that might be worth checking out. So I will not be here next Friday afternoon, but we'll have somebody here obviously hosting, and it would be really cool to be able to like have people see it firsthand. So we got the link is in the chat, which is great. Be sure to check that out. And then we'll work and see if we get a demo on that next Friday. That could be really cool.
Yeah, so the link is, someone put the link in the chat, but in order to get the unlimited, you're gonna have to go through our account. So you can just use the link to just look at it. But after Monday, Steve and Carl will send out information on how to gain access.
Cool. Awesome. All right, so be on the lookout for those messages coming out from Carl and Steve. That's great news. All right, any other updates? A lot going on. Or again, highlights, shout outs.
Hi, Alan and SJ team. This is Bonita from Supported Employment. I just wanted to give an update and a shout out. We just had one young man, a new hire at the Nationals baseball stadium in DC. So he just started and he's very excited. He'll be working at the concession stands. This young man was a little intimidated because he is in a wheelchair and he didn't think that he would be hired. We went in and told all the good information about his background. He's actually an Army vet. And typically the stadium positions are seasonal positions, but the interviewer was so impressed with him on the spot, they say he will be an automatic rehire until he no longer wants to work. So I thought that was great news. And then we have another young man, Mr. Salim Brown, just was informed by his employer this morning that he received award today for great job doing outstanding performance. His performance has increased from the past few months. So I just wanted to give a shout out to both of those men in supported employment.
That's awesome. Great news.
Thank you.
It's always good to get that news. That is great, especially as things are starting to reopen. You know, it's great to see our folks getting employed and having those opportunities. Thank you, Benita, for that work.
Benita, can you send that information to Amanda Irwin? She's going to be in town the first week of August, so she might be able to go to a game and like take pictures of him working.
Oh,
And
that would be
also
awesome.
highlight Celine on his work notice, like on Facebook or whatever, too.
Absolutely. And I'm working with a contact right now, trying to get us some free tickets for the game. So I have not got it solidified yet, but hopefully I can get those tickets and I will make those open and available for individuals and or staff if you guys are wanting to go.
Oh, that's cool. All right, cool. Any other updates, highlights, shout outs?
I got one, Alan.
All right. Kwaku, how are you?
Good driving. Like just, I just really want to just say to everybody on the call, I know sometimes you can seem like, you get frustrated. You wonder, are you part of this whole process or you're just part of like a spoke in the cloud, in the wheel. But I just want people to know that just really one of the things I'm really, really excited about. I'm a big sports guy, and it comes down to teams, right? Whose team is better than the other team, and there's two ways you win: either you buy them or you build them, right? So you saw the Milwaukee Bucks; they won, and they went with a mantra like building a team, right? So I was just really excited about the conversations we've had as a leadership team this week in regards to the things that we have planned and we're working on to really put into the people that work at the organization. So there's a lot of conversations behind the scenes, some inside the ballpark stuff that's talking about what we could do better to make the people we all work with better. So individually and collectively, we're a better team. And even one of the things I'm proud about is just us having conversations about DSP week in July and all the thought and that work that goes into it. And this week was a good week. I mean, we've talked about a lot about babies and really the blessing of life. And one of the things that also we talked about this week too as a team was just really circling back and remembering on the staff, on the families of the staff that we lost too, and just letting them know that we still think about them and we're still here to help and encourage them. So to me, the people development is really one of the things that I'm really super proud of that we are doing and working on as an organization.
No, thank you, Kwaku. Appreciate that.
Hey, Alan, this is Rich. Just under the heading of business development, we've been trying to keep ourselves busy over the last couple of weeks. We have submitted for an RFQ in DC that would allow us to serve more homeless adults in rapid rehousing. We just submitted in New York a grant that would allow us to provide case management to our SROs. And right now we are starting to work on a submission date of next Friday, a grant that will allow us to build or purchase 3 homes in Virginia to serve challenging individuals who need something other than punishment related to illness. So I'm excited about those and just trying to keep ourselves busy.
Very good, Rich. That's awesome. And that last submission, if we are able to get it, it would kind of take us into a little different segment, right? Of population, or at least some issues that are being addressed, right?
In talking to Kwaku and Precious and others, it seems like we've always served this population in a small way, okay. But it would really allow us to serve folks with IDD with comorbidity related to chronic mental illness and some challenging behaviors that oftentimes lead them towards incarceration. And so what we hope is that the SJCS way can help remove them from that cycle of incarceration and providing quality of life.
That's excellent. And then the one in New York would provide some supportive case management and helping people in terms of housing placement, or?
Yeah, if you think of, again, and I think for some on the call, they're familiar with the concept of chronic homelessness. It's those individuals who find themselves sort of repeatedly falling back into homelessness. And oftentimes it's a lack of case management and true support to help guide them through that initial process. And so we have a housing program that Roy could speak to in much greater detail, but to be able to provide them with some intensive case management, gaining employment, managing their benefits, just managing life to help avoid going back into the shelter and all the risks that go along with homelessness.
That's awesome. Great. Good luck on those. Hopefully we hit that.
Thank you.
That'd be awesome to see.
Keep our fingers crossed. Keep your fingers crossed.
All right. Thank you, Rich. Awesome. Any other updates, shout outs, or stories, highlights?
I'll say something, Alan.
Cool.
Let me take my. I know you guys have been hearing about Shift for the past forever. I don't know if you can see this or not. I can't see myself, so I don't know. There we go. Okay. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
So I know y'all have heard that Tennessee, got the accreditation for Shift, but it is official because we received the certificate in the.
Yes.
So, yay. So this is the West Tennessee, or the West region of Tennessee. So obviously we're only in West, but so this is the Tennessee accreditation. Eduardo and Steve and Carl and all their teams in the other states, they are so close to they're behind us a little bit in it because they started after us. Plus we were in the pilot program and they weren't. So they are so close to getting theirs as well. So it's closing in on Virginia and DC also getting their accreditation. So it's very exciting, but in Tennessee, it is official. We have got ours. And so that's just bigger things to come with that. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Dwayne Webb and Josh Magnus. So like 3 weeks ago, I was in a technology meeting and somebody knocks on my door at Harlan Morris and I open it as Dwayne, which kind of surprised me. And he's like, "Can I speak to you outside?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I went outside with him and he had my brand new 15 passenger van sitting outside waiting for me at Harlan Morris. We had ordered it 2 years ago from the TDOT grant with the state, or 2 or 3 years ago. And Josh and Dwayne went to Jackson to pick it up and brought it to Trenton and surprised me because I didn't know it was in. And so we have worked the past couple of weeks getting the insurance and license plate and all that and good stuff on it. And then last night, me and one of the other staff took out a few residents for the first time in it, and we spun around town and they wanted to drive through town. And then we went to a hamburger joint. And so very exciting because Harlan Morris has only had this little dinky car from the 1990s with like 30,000 miles on it, literally. So obviously they haven't traveled very far. And so only a couple people can fit in that car. So that's all they've had for years and years. And now they have, it seats 13 people, but also with 2 wheelchairs. So it's 15 total. So they were super excited to just go out last night to a hamburger restaurant. And so, yeah, so many more to come. Our next adventure in a couple of weeks, we plan to go to the drive-through zoo. They don't even have to get out of the van. We literally just drive through the zoo. And so be looking for pictures on that. And then one other, I don't know if I even said this, but I was shouting out to Dwayne and Josh for bringing me my van, but thank you guys. I don't know if I actually said thank you, but thank you for bringing that. So, so that was wonderful. And then one other thing about Harlan Morris is, our commercial has ended, but we are still getting calls for referrals. So that's great. We've had 2 new people move in the past 3 or 4 weeks. And then we've got 2 or 3 more that are extremely interested. They just haven't gotten there yet. But we've had 2 move in. So things are looking a little positive there, but so lots of stuff going on in the state period. So that's it for my
That's great.
areas.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yep. Very exciting.
Very exciting. Both fronts.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other updates, highlights, stories, shout outs? Okay. If not, then I just want to say thank you all for joining us today. Actually, let me just really quick double check where we are. Okay, looking at YouTube. Just want to make sure that we're not missing out on any questions over there. All right, so just want to say thank you all for taking the time to join us this afternoon. Thank you for everything that you're doing every day to support people that matter so much at St. John's. And just thank you for putting your very best out there, especially in light of the labor crisis that we're facing right now. So many people are working a lot of extra shifts I just want to say thank you so much for doing that, for the long hours you're putting in, oftentimes double shifts that you're working, multiple days in a row. And we are working towards getting support and hopefully seeing that trend have to stop because we have more people in the pipeline to be hired. Trying to pull out all the stops we can. But I just, in the meanwhile, just want to thank you because you're making sure that at the end of the day, the people that matter the most are getting the support and the care that they need. So thank you so much. I hope at some point in time this weekend, you're able to relax, rejuvenate, maybe catch an Olympic event that you love, and just enjoy time with your loved ones and find time for yourself as well. And if you're coming onto shift, or maybe your shift is not, your rotation isn't done for the week, thank you so much for your work, and thank you for standing in the gap and keeping that going. So have a great rest of your Friday and enjoy the weekend. Thank you all.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Right, have a good one, y'all.
I'll have to wait till you close the meeting. I still can't find my leave button. I just have to sit here until they.
No worries. I'll put you out of your misery.
Okay, just snap me out. Okay.
There you go.
All right, thanks.